Hi everyone, today in our Journeys book, we're going to be reading on page 377, Antarctic Journal, 4 Months at the Bottom of the World, written and illustrated by Jennifer Owings Dewey. Page 378. The author has long had a vision of herself exploring Antarctica, what she calls the windiest, coldest, most forbidding region on Earth. She has recently traveled by plane and ship to this icy continent. Her first exciting encounter was with humpback whales when her ship stopped to let them pass. Now she has settled in at Palmer Station, where she'll be living for 4 months. During her visit to Antarctica, she plans to sketch, photograph, and write about this fascinating place. November 27th, Litchfield Island. In fair weather, I go to Litchfield Island and spend the day, sometimes the night. Litchfield is 3 miles from Palmer by inflatable boat, a protected island visited by 2 or 3 people a year. Before going to Litchfield, I'm shown how to walk on open ground in Antarctica. An inch of moss takes 100 years to grow. The careless scruff of a boot heel could rip out 200 years of growth in seconds. Page 379. I pack my food and extra clothes in a waterproof sea bag. A day pack holds pencils, pens, and paper for drawing and writing. There is no fresh water on the island. I carry 2 one-gallon canteens. Each island has an emergency cache of food and supplies, marked with a flag, available if a person gets stranded during a storm. Alone after being dropped on the island, I hear birds call, the whine of the wind, the waves pounding gravel shores, and no human sounds except my breathing. Twilight falls and I crawl into my tent, alert and unable to sleep for a long time, listening to the sounds of the Antarctic night. Page 380. December 3rd, Litchfield Island. One of the larger islands offshore, Litchfield, has a penguin rookery or nesting area on the gently sloping western edge. The ground is rocky but flat enough for penguins to build nests, with a beach close by for gathering small gray nest stones. The rookery is occupied by 200 or 300 penguins. It's small by penguin standards. The penguins are nearly all Adélie, named in 1838 by Dumont d'Urville after his wife. I wonder, did they look like her, act like her, or was he just missing her? Pairs greet each other at the nest with calls like braying donkeys. They rub chests and bellies, flap wings, stretch necks, and reach for the sky with their bill's behavior called ecstatic display. Page 381. I find a sheltered perch by the rookery and put my 6-pound metal typewriter on a flat rock. The penguins begin to wander over. They huddle close, smelling of guano and salt water, gently tugging at my clothing with their bills. One bold bird takes my hat and goes off with it. They are curious about the tap-tap-tapping noise of the typewriter. They walk up and across it, tugging at the paper tucked into the roller. I let them have their way. Human visitors may not touch penguins, or any wildlife, but the penguins can take their time checking us out. I follow penguin stone collecting, real work for an Adélie. They carry 1 stone at a time in their bills. It requires hundreds of trips to complete a nest. Placing a stone takes time. With the stone in its bill, the penguin circles the nest, bowing like a butler. Finally deciding where the stone is needed most, the bird drops it and shuffles away to the beach for another. If one penguin steals a stone from another, a noisy argument erupts. Frustrated birds shriek like squabbling children, but they never come to blows. Page 382. December 20th, Palmer Station. I have learned that the largest animal on Earth, the 100-ton blue whale, eats only one of the smallest animals on Earth, krill. There are more krill in the seas than there are stars in the visible universe. Krill is one link in a simple food chain. Penguins, seals, and whales eat krill. In turn, the tiny shrimp-like krill eat phytoplankton, one-celled plants that bloom in the sea in spring and summer. My new friend, Carl, an oceanographer, said we ought to try eating krill since so many animals thrive on it. In the biolab, we scooped krill into a jar. We got a small fry pan, then melted butter, and cooked up the krill. Someone said, add garlic. Somebody said, how about pepper and salt? These were added. When the mixture looked ready, we ate it. Tastes like butter, one person said. More like garlic, another said. Tastes like butter and garlic, Carl said. Krill don't have their own taste, I concluded. Page 383, December 24th, Palmer Station. It was 3 in the morning, bright outside, and I couldn't sleep. I crept downstairs, signed out, and took the flagged trail up the glacier. Dressed in my watchman's cap, 3 layers under my parka, and boots, I climbed in a stillness broken only by the noise of snow crunching under my soles. Greenish-purple clouds covered the sky from edge to edge. The sea was the color of pewter. Near the top, I heard a crackling sound, a slap magnified 1,000,000 times in my ear. Another followed, then another. Echoes of sound, aftershocks, sizzled in the air. The sky began to glow with an eerie luminescence, as if someone in the heavens had switched on a neon light in place of the sun. I felt myself dropping straight down. A crack had appeared under me, a crevasse in the glacier. Page 384. I'm alive because the crack was narrow. I fell to my shoulders, my boot soles too wide to fit through the bottom of the crack. I stared below into a blue-green hole cut with facets like a diamond. After a few deep breaths, I began to scramble out. Terrified the crack would keep growing, I moved slowly. It was an hour before I was on firm ice. The color of the sky shifted to blue-gray with streaks of yellow along the western horizon. To my horror, I saw a pattern of cracks zigzagging, like fractured window glass, across the glacier surface. I checked my watch. I'd been gone 3 hours. I don't know why, but I didn't want anyone rescuing me. I decided to crawl down the glacier on hands and knees. I felt my way inch by inch, rubbing the surface of the snow with my palms before making a move. I have a new weariness tonight, born of having been frightened out of my wits while watching one of the most beautiful skies I'll ever see. Page 385, January 6th, Palmer Station. Earlier today, my friend Carl, the ocean scientist, came to my room and said, "Let's go see the green flash." "The what?" I asked. "Come on, you'll see. Hurry, or we'll miss it." We headed up the glacier, and at the top we sat facing west. The sun slipped slowly toward the horizon. As it fell, its orb glowed a deep orange. The shape of it was fat, like a squashed pumpkin. Near the end of the drop, the light on top of the orb flashed green. The green flash. "There it is," I said. "I saw it." The green flash is a rare, fleeting event in the Earth's atmosphere. To catch it with the naked eye, there must be a clear horizon at sunset, as often seen over water. The green flash comes with certain conditions in the sky having to do with the way light bends. It lasts less than a 20th of a second. Page 387, March 12th, Winging Home. Before leaving, I collected, with permission, a sterile penguin egg that would never hatch. I made room for it in my suitcase by giving a lot of my clothes away. The airline lost my bag in Miami. I told the airline people that I had to have it back, pleading, begging. "It has a penguin egg in it," I said. They glanced at each other and eyed me funny. Fortunately for me and them, they found the bag. The egg reminds me of my trip to the place where penguins raise downy chicks. Krill swarm in numbers greater than stars in the sky. Whales have rights, and icebergs drift in graceful arcs across southern ocean swells. At home, I'll look out at the desert landscape and remember the Antarctic desert, the last great wilderness on Earth.